Gentlemen, it is Pack here. There is a series that I wanted to restart that I started a long time ago back in I think NBA 2K17, where it was forgotten NBA teams that need to be added in NBA 2K23 or whatever 2K I did it on. Here's the thing. This video isn't what you think it is, because you're thinking, oh, obviously like the championship Lakers of 2010, like those kind of teams. That's not the teams I'm talking about. There's a reason the Charles Barkley Suns, the Reggie Miller Pacers, the Los Angeles Lakers of the championship with Kobe Bryant, there's a reason those teams don't exist in 2K. And the obvious reason is because they don't have the rights to basically the best players on those teams. You can't make those teams without those players. That's not what this is about. This is about the teams in the 2010s, and I want to do every single decade, where 2K could make the teams because they have the rights to basically every single player, and they still haven't made these teams. These are teams that you can make technically right now. I'm going to show you the 8 teams in the 2010s that I think are forgotten and could absolutely be added in the NBA 2K23 like right now. If you like that kind of content, please join the pack and subscribe. Let's get it, man. The first team is the 2013 Lakers. I've talked about this team a little bit already, and it's a team that I absolutely feel terrible about. I feel bad for this team. This team was supposed to be good. Remember, we really expected this team to be great. The Dwight Howard entering this Los Angeles Lakers team was a big deal. And even though this team did not meet expectations in any sense of the word, it's still a pretty cool team to use in 2K, is it not? I mean, Pau Gasol was still pretty decent. Steve Nash is an 81 overall. Dwight Howard was an 87. That's not bad. And Kobe was Kobe. This was still a fun team. And you had Antoine Jameson off the bench. I think you had Metta World Peace on this team as well. They don't have the rights to Metta World Peace, so that'd be the one player that they're missing. But besides that, this team is fire. This is any Kobe team that's in his prime is going to be a fun team to use. And a team that I can lob Dwight Howard the ball with. Come on. Come on, is it really that bad? Sure, they didn't win a lot of games. They got destroyed in the playoffs by the Spurs, you damn right. But Kobe was injured, and at the end of the day, it's a cool roster when you look at it. It's as simple as that. I like the team. I think it should be added in 2K, and it's forgotten sometimes. The next team, and forgotten for sure, with the DeMar DeRozan Raptors with Kyle Lowry. So DeMar was like an 89, Kyle Lowry 86. You had Jonathan Valanciunas. That was like when I was saying Jonathan Valanciunas' name like that every single day. DeMar Carroll, so they don't have the rights to DeMar Carroll, so just ignore this. I'm sorry. And Norman Powell and other players on this team that they don't have the rights to in 2K as of today. But like they have most of the rights to this team, and this team made a conference finals. Sure. This was the LeBron toe teams where LeBron was destroying them every single year. But they did make a conference finals and they went to game 6. And like, hey, that's genuinely impressive. Sure. Did they not make the NBA finals? No, but they were one of the best teams in the NBA for a long time and absolutely deserve. There are teams in 2K that have done less that are in 2K. This team should not be forgotten. Kyle Lowry's not on the Raptors anymore and DeMar wasn't in the Raptors anymore, but this was like the tenure of like the greatness of the Raptors. Absolutely deserving to be in 2K, in my personal opinion. If you're a Raptors fan, you'd absolutely want this team. At number 6, I have the 2015 Houston Rockets. This is the years where James Harden had entered the Houston Rockets after his beef with OKC because they didn't want to give him the money, and he goes to the Rockets and ends up being really damn good. In fact, they make a conference finals. This team made a conference finals, and I feel like people forget about this team all the time. Dwight Howard, after his beef with the Lakers, says, you know what, I'm going to reset my mind. Let's go to the Rockets. Let me learn with Hakeem Olajuwon. And it worked. This team went to a conference finals, was genuinely good. Josh Smith was still pretty good at the time. Trevor Ariza was amazing at the time still. Jason Terry goes to another team and makes another good team be even better. Pat Bev was on this team. People forget that. Look, this team was genuinely good. Sure, it isn't remembered as another Rockets team that we're going to talk about later, but this was still a very, very big deal of a team. It's still one of the Rockets' greatest team of all time, and it deserves to have its nod. I think this is definitely one of the most forgotten teams of all time. And the fact that 2K has not really added this team back into 2K, it feels disrespectful because it's a fun team. James Harden is cooking. You have Josh Smith catching lobs. You have Dwight Howard catching lobs. Trevor Ariza was a good shooter. I mean, this is genuinely a fun team overall. To not have it in 2K, it definitely feels wrong, doesn't it? And speaking of forgotten NBA teams, the 2018 Celtics. You're like, forgotten? That was a couple years ago. Listen, this team matters. This 2018 Kyrie Celtics, they absolutely matter in 2K history and NBA history. Kyrie Irving goes to the Boston Celtics. He's like, you know what? Forget Cleveland. I want to prove that I'm that guy. And to be honest, they were still one of the better teams in the NBA, and Kyrie Irving was getting hella points. He missed a couple games, and he missed the playoffs. But ignoring that, in the regular season, this team was genuinely good. We really thought we were going to get a Kyrie Irving versus LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was supposed to be a big deal, and Kyrie gets hurt. But this team still made the Eastern Conference Finals because Jason Tatum and Al Horford and even Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, Scary Terry, Jaylen Brown were all on this team at the time doing very, very well. Sure, was it without Kyrie? But the Kyrie was still on this team technically. And don't forget that this is the year that Gordon Hayward got hurt at the beginning of the year. This team has some talent. It deserves its spotlight in 2K. I know that there's going to be a lot of Celtics teams that deserve to be in 2K, but this one absolutely deserves it. I feel very, very passionate about this next one. The 2017 San Antonio Spurs. This Spurs team, I swear to you, a lot of you don't understand, but Spurs fans, you hear me. This team was supposed to win the championship. We were going to beat the Warriors that year. Kawhi never got hurt by Zaza. I promise you. Kawhi Leonard was unconscious this year, a 95 overall. LaMarcus Aldridge was still playing near his prime at an 87 overall. Pau Gasol was past his prime and playing well at an 81. Tony Parker was a 79 overall, his last really good years. Manu Ginobili's last couple good years. Patty Mills, Danny Green. This team still had so much talent. They were still good. They still could have won a championship. I promise you. It was looking like we were going to freaking win the whole thing. I swear to you. And Zaza happened, bro. This team, even though it didn't win a championship, it's definitely one of the better teams all time and one of the better Spurs teams all time. To not be in 2K definitely feels wrong when this team was so hyped up and this was like Kawhi's best year with the Spurs. This was like his best year with the Spurs. This was like his signature year. I know that they won a championship, but he was not as good at the time when Kawhi won the championship. This 2017 Spurs, when Kawhi was an MVP conversation, absolutely needs to be in 2K. Okay, at number 2, I wouldn't say this team is forgotten, but it deserves to be in 2K no matter what. The 2018 Harden Rockets. This team is the greatest team to never win an NBA championship, in my personal opinion. James Harden, an MVP player. Chris Paul, one of the greatest players of all time, one of the greatest point guards of all time, still playing at an extremely high level. If Chris Paul never gets hurt, I genuinely believe, I'm one of those people that believes they would have won the NBA championship. I really feel that way. Clint Capella was one of the better centers defensively in the NBA. Eric Gordon was still a bucket. Trevor Ariza was good. PJ Tucker was good. This team was absolutely supposed to win the NBA championship that year. The Warriors were the better team, and they were losing like solidly to the Rockets. And if Chris Paul's hammy never went out, it was looking like they were going to win the chip. This team is amazing. This is one of Chris Paul's better teams ever. This is one of the, again, I think in my opinion, the greatest team to never win an NBA championship. To not have this team feels criminal in 2K, especially when you have everyone possible to make the team. It's James Harden's probably best year. You have to have this team in 2K history in NBA 2K. You have to. And the final team, and probably most deserving, is the 2017 Boston Celtics. An NBA team that makes the conference finals. Isaiah Thomas was dropping 29 points per game. And he was 5'9". To this day, like, we forget the miracle that Isaiah Thomas was pulling that season. One of the cooler NBA players ever. I got to be honest, I thought he was so cool at the time. Avery Bradley was the second best player. We forget that was even a thing. Al Horford was great. Jay Crowder was great. Marcus Smart was still great at the time. Kelly Olynyk, Jaylen Brown was not very good yet because he was young, but he was still on the team. This team had so much talent, and the only reason they lost is because first, Isaiah Thomas got super hurt, and second, LeBron James exists. The only reason. But besides that, this team could have absolutely made an NBA Finals technically. They were never going to be the Warriors, but still, it's a damn shame that this team is not solidified and honored in 2K history, added into the game. But it absolutely needs to be, because there's no denying how cool this team would be to use in 2K. And I even argue that Isaiah Thomas, because of that one season, needs to be in the all-time Celtics team. But yes, sure, I'm not saying this would be the funnest team to use, because outside of Isaiah Thomas, no one really here is an extremely fun bucket getter. There's a lot of defensive players, but don't get me wrong, Isaiah Thomas alone, it would be so fun. It's very similar to like the Allen Iverson 76ers, but with Isaiah Thomas. I think it'd be so fun, and it's to respect the little guy. You gotta add this team. But okay, these are my personal picks. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.